Have to make sure that this is the right hotkey. Okay. Welcome, my dazzly little darlings. This is IceWolfGem here, and today we're going to do another IceWolfGem Reacts. This one is called Sooner or Later, You're Gonna Be Mine. Now, I did a reaction video of this later on, back in like 2019, I think. Well, there's another episode out, and this time I'm dying to see what is up with Frisk, Papyrus, and Sans. So hopefully they'll be able to actually help solve some answers. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? Well, anyway, let's get right into the video. But before we do that, make sure you watch the original video link in the description box down below. If you enjoyed it, check out the original video link in the description box down below. But if you already done that, then let's begin. But if you're the type of person like that active video along with the actor, make sure you like the original video, subscribe to the person who made it, and if you already done that, let's begin. Okay, let's see what's in store for us. Only time will tell.
Here, bucko. I'll give you a lift.
So that's how he got in front of me last night when I was trying to leave.
Yep, that's how. He teleported. Okay.
Tell me about the restaurants in this area, tiny human.
Okay.
Nick was in the back alleyway behind
Alright.
Dondi's favorite bar when the old man wasn't conducting business. The freak with the golden tooth was leaning against the wall, lighting one of his fucked up cigars that made red smoke. Nick knew the monster weapons would help Dondi extend his control to other cities, but he couldn't help but feel disgusted by the fact they'd be shaking hands with these creatures.
But these creatures are the planet, though.
But Dondi said to treat them with respect, at least to their faces. Dondi also said they'd deal with the monsters later when the time was right.
Figured.
Nick smiled, dreaming of all the terrible things he would do to this freak for even daring to touch him. So, I hear that Dondi just got done dealing with some gang that was giving him a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
What are they called? The Never Dies? Cute name.
Yeah, those freaks would carve an N on their victims' foreheads.
Uh-huh.
Some cult shit right there, if you ask me.
I figured.
Dondi settled everything with them, though?
Yeah, nasty feud, but a compromise was reached. Now everybody's getting along. Hasn't been a gang war between us in weeks.
In weeks.
That's good to hear.
Uh-oh. Oh. Oh!
That's what you get for messing with another man's woman, you prick.
Ooh.
Sans took great pains to ensure that no blood got on his suit. He didn't want to upset his little lady when he got back. The first phase of Wingding's plans was working perfectly. Now all they had to do was play the waiting game for a little while until they could move on to the next step.
And that
Until then,
is...
Sans knew exactly how he was going to spend his time.
Oh, poor Frisk.
He couldn't keep his little lady waiting.
Oh, keep her waiting. Keep her waiting. She has all the time in the world. All the time in the
You
world.
humans even sell spaghetti at all?
No.
From the short time she spent talking to the tall skeleton who called himself Papyrus, Frisk learned a few things about him.
Yeah.
Such as Papyrus was energetic. Incredibly energetic.
I believe it.
He no sooner sat down in Nick's old chair for a grand total of 2 minutes
Yeah.
before he was standing up again, pacing back and forth as they talked about her area's restaurants, which made sense to Frisk. At first, when Nick first arrived as the appointed landlord to Frisk's area, he had asked a lot of questions about the businesses as well.
Yeah.
The only difference
sense.
between Nick and Papyrus was that unlike Nick, who was more interested in how successful each business was and how much money they made, Papyrus seemed to be way more interested in the actual food that was sold at each eatery.
Okay.
He asked what she thought of the food. He asked what the other humans thought of the food. He asked if Frisk ever classified the food as greasy, and then asked her to name off every food item each restaurant had to offer.
Okay.
Money was an issue that never came up, not one time. And it puzzled Frisk, but she wasn't stupid enough to voice her confusion. And with each question he asked, he never stopped moving. It was exhausting and nerve-wracking, to say the least. as Frisk cautiously watched her new criminal landlord continuously move without pausing, and with his loud voice escalating every so often, and his dominating posture that never once relaxed.
That never once
There
relaxed.
were a few times Frisk had braced herself just in case of a random spurt of violence from him.
Figured.
But no matter how loud the skeleton's loud movements were, or how powerful his voice sounded, he never once made a motion towards her, which was relieving. Relieving and shocking. But Frisk wasn't one to complain. But all the same, she kept her body tensed and her legs ready to move out of the way if need be. But confusion and despair weren't the only emotions the tall skeleton seemed to pull out of Frisk. It came very clear to her that Papyrus, much like Sans, was an arrogant and entitled jackass.
Figured, which is true.
Every answer she gave the skeleton seemed to annoy and amuse him, and he responded with some of the most arrogant and pompous replies Frisk had ever seen. He scoffed at her when she told him that the little diner owned by Mr. Vale made some of the best pancakes she'd ever tasted. He rolled the single red light in his socket when she said the burger stand had some tasty fries and delicious lemonade. And he openly laughed when she sweetly suggested, in a non-threatening way, that he wouldn't be disappointed if he gave both places a try. Frisk was lucky he was pacing around, barely looking at her during their conversation, because he would have seen a look of complete dislike on her face.
Gotta keep that poker face on, girl.
She didn't know what deal these monsters made with Dundee for them to gain a small area of human territory.
True.
But as far as she was concerned, the prick should have chosen a different area of people to lord his power and terror over if he didn't like the looks of this place.
Screw you, buddy. You can get the hell back to your own city if you think you're too good for my home.
But then all that movement ceased from him when he asked that spaghetti question.
Whoa.
And Frisk learned another thing about this man. Apparently, spaghetti was an important subject to him. At least important enough for him to stop moving and stare at her with such an intense look. Frisk could have sworn they had been discussing a life-or-death situation,
I believe it.
as opposed to a pasta dish.
Well, the burger stand is more of an on-the-go sort of thing.
You mean greasy fast food?
How the hell can you taste anything? You don't even have a tongue or
That
a
is
stomach.
true.
She thought, but wisely decided to nod her head, agreeing with him. Finally urged to defend the one-handed Mr. Sloane, who owned the burger establishment. As much as she liked the old man, she wasn't going to do him or herself any favors by standing up for him.
True.
She liked to keep her face attached to her head, and she was fairly positive that sparking an argument with this overly enthusiastic skeleton would result in a painful consequence.
I agreed. Best to be safe than sorry. Good tactic.
She was already slammed to a wall when she told Sam she didn't find him attractive, so she could only imagine what this more active skeleton would do to her. Plus, when it came to criminals like Papyrus, Sans, or Nick who viewed themselves as being superior, it was best not to bring attention to yourself or the people you love. Being invisible was the best defense you got against mobsters after all. You mouth off, and you throw your shield away.
That is true.
Unfortunately, she may have already
That's true.
done that with Sans.
She
If she
did a
had
little.
known that skeleton was going to be her landlord from now on, she might have responded to him a bit differently last night.
But you were honest
Been a
with
little
yourself.
sweeter with her rejections. Told him she already had a lover. Lied to him.
True.
I saw you. I want you. And so I learned all that I could about you. Followed you around for a bit. His words echoed in her mind, and she shook them off as violently as she could.
Try, girl.
Had he
But
been telling
don't.
the truth? Is that why he ended up taking control of her area?
Probably.
Because he wanted her?
That
Or
is
was
possible.
it just a coincidence?
It happened before.
Frisk quickly chose the latter and the more logical of the two explanations to go with.
Of
Fair
course
enough.
it was just a coincidence.
Why on earth would a big-time criminal, at least Frisk assumed Sans was a big name in his own city, why else would Dundee even be seen with him if he weren't a big deal? Choose where to place his business based on where a girl lived. Especially when that big-name criminal has never even spoken to that girl. And the only time he did, she showed nothing but disgust and rejection. And more
True.
importantly, even though Frisk had enough confidence to call herself cute, there were so many more women in her city that were much more beautiful than her, and would willingly be with Sans, monster or not. It wouldn't make sense.
Yep, nothing but a coincidence. The guy would have to be insane if this were anything but a coincidence.
A lot of
But all the
narration if you
same,
think
the
about it.
sands
But
came
then
back.
again, this is like... I'm sorry for stopping this, but if you think about this, this is like around 1960, 1950, 1940, 1930 sort of thing. So they would have like this narration for video, for these kind of movies and shows, which is actually really sweet because it actually does give it that grand vibe, and I actually like the color and the details of this. Like this, they don't add a lot of color, they don't add a lot of glimmer, because this is a depressing area. Like there's no joy, there's no happiness, it's all just downhill. It's all just like depression and pain. This is what I like about it. I like the style of this. This is a little different than your average everyday comics, but this is where they put a lot of details in like the scenario. And I just hope that this series has a silver lining in the end. I can't wait to see it.
You know, it would be in her best interest to try and make peace with him. Maybe
True.
she could lie her way out of her behavior last night.
Maybe.
Maybe tell him she got offended because she was already engaged to be married.
Good
Then
luck.
she could apologize and go from there. But right now, she had another cretin to kiss up to.
That is true.
Yeah, the burger stand can sell greasy food. But to be fair, they're a cheap and easy meal for a family, if you don't have enough money. Spaghetti is more of an expensive sit-down-and-eat food.
Was he uncomfortable with?
This area isn't very
Classy.
classy, is it?
He didn't sound so confident or condescending anymore, though she could tell he was trying to project that in his voice. And the smug smile on his face didn't seem too genuine, at least not as smug as it was before. In fact, if Frisk didn't know any better, she could have sworn Papyrus was a little rattled about something she said. It was hard
Yeah.
to tell with a skeletal face, and she could be very wrong with her theory, but maybe the idea of being around poverty didn't sit well with him.
Probably
And
not.
if he really was mildly upset about the idea of the people in her area being poor, then maybe this might be the perfect opportunity to soften him up so he wouldn't be too harsh. Or too unreasonable when it came to deciding what would be the appropriate protection fee to charge Frisk and her neighbors.
That would be a good choice.
The people in her
Take the
apartments
chance.
could barely afford to pay the current fee as it was. If it went any higher, she had to be careful.
That is true.
There was a good chance she might be reading his sudden and unexpected expression wrong. But it was an opportunity she couldn't pass up. It was an opportunity her neighbors couldn't afford for her to pass up.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call this area unclassy, exactly. It is a pretty poor neighborhood after all.
The smug look seemed to completely fade from his face, and the tapping on the desk seemed to increase in speed, much like his pacing when he got annoyed.
Okay, girl, keep going. Slow and steady will hopefully win this race. That's one of
Yeah.
the main reasons why our restaurants can't sell spaghetti. You see, it's becoming a pretty popular food lately, so the price of buying it has skyrocketed. Only the richer areas with nicer restaurants can sell it.
Fair enough.
Frisk wasn't lying. It really was too expensive for her restaurant buddies to invest their money in. It would be a stupid investment on their part, too. Why spend money on a menu item nobody can buy when you can make cheap food that everybody will be able to afford? Not that not eating pasta bothered Frisk. Burgers and fries, a nice, tall soda, and a big piece of pie were all part of a balanced meal as far as she was concerned. She never did grow to like the taste of pasta, even when it had been affordable.
That's weird. In the monster cities, it's the cheapest thing you can buy.
Cheapest? This guy's wearing a suit that looks like it costs more than a year's worth of rent for me. Why would he be interested in cheap
And when
food?
my bro makes spaghetti,
What an entry!
it's like nothing you've ever put in your mouth before.
He really knows how to make an entrance, doesn't he? Oh no! Oh. Oh dear. Oh no. Well. That was Ugh. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, press that like button. It really means a lot to me to do that. Also, subscribe, totally free, really free. Join the day where Grinch, because some other videos you do think I might like. Subscribe to Vade. I would recommend subscribing to him because he actually does comic dubs like these. This is actually interesting. I might do these as well, but if you want me to do it, just press the like button to let me know. So, without further ado, I'm just going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you on the next coming video. Goodbye, everybody, and stay shining, my dazzling little darlings. Stay shining.